And then let's talk about this Rams and Buccaneers game, all right? Because we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to talk about them visiting the LA Rams. And the Bucs coming off the Super Bowl win, bringing back all 22 starters. Of course, they're a little bit banged up now, but they also come into this game 2-0. The LA Rams also sitting at 2-0. This game will be played at 1:25 p.m. on Fox at SoFi Stadium. So hopefully you're not watching Fox. Hopefully you're watching at SoFi with your own eyeballs, and the only screen that you guys are soaking in with those eyeballs is that infinity screen, all right? You don't want your TV screen for this one. You want that infinity screen shining that light, that blue light, right into your retinas, all right? That's where it's at, all right? For me, I will have the blue light from a television screen because Rams will be shown out here in Colorado. Actually, we get all of Colorado. Here's your distribution map. Poof! And in the red is where anybody in the red will see this game on their television if you're on Fox. Out here in Colorado Springs, it is channel 21. I'm sure it's very different where you are, but that's the channel you can catch it on. Very large area. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck will be on the call, so game of the week. Like I said, the Bucs are favored in this game by -1. They got 1 point, all right? That's not that bad. That is not that bad. The over-under for the Bucs is 28. The over-under for the Rams specifically is 27. So everybody feels like it's going to be a pretty tight game. 55.5 at the over-under. -110 no matter which way you bet there. So pretty clean bets there. All right. And if you're willing to give up that point, I mean, the Rams start this game 1-0. All right. I feel good about that. Okay. So I think that the Rams can pull this one off. I really do. Take a look at some game notes on this one. Last year, the Rams did win this game. It was 27-24. Very good game. That game was played in Tampa Bay. Very good game. We'll talk more about the history of this matchup, though, here in a second. This was kind of just an interesting little tidbit of information that popped up in the feed this week. That the Buccaneers have been linked. There's been some rumors that they have reached out to cornerback Richard Sherman. And it does kind of make sense because the Buccaneers' pass defense, not very awesome, all right? Not so dope. And there's a good chance that quarterback Matty Stafford over here for the LA Rams might be able to put up some decent numbers here. But Richard Sherman, looks like a phone call's at least been made, potentially. I cannot confirm that. I don't have anybody telling me exactly that that's what happened. But it does look like there is some kind of linkage there between the Bucs and Richard Sherman. Don't know if anything is going to come of that. Haven't seen anything further. By the time I wrote this note, that was a couple days ago, so I'm not sure if we've gotten any further on that, if anything's going to happen, or if it's been decided it's not going to happen and just wasn't reported, because it really was just a little bit of a thing. Like, hey, they've reached out, like inquired about Richard Sherman. Bucs wide receiver Antonio Brown tests positive for COVID and is fully vaccinated, so he can return if he gets 2 negative tests within 24 hours of each other. So he does technically have time to get his tests in and be good to go for this game on Sunday in Los Angeles. But it's also not a guarantee. If he tested positive, I mean, he actually might have COVID. I mean, that's typically what a test tells you. If a test comes back positive, you're supposed to have it. All right, but as we know, as we've learned over this last year and so many months, that not anything is very locked in and set in stone. There's a lot of things that are kind of up in the air and a lot of things that are confusing, and that's not a political statement at all. I think it's just a human statement that if this hasn't confused you at least a little bit, then I don't know. I don't know if you're paying that close attention. I don't pay that close attention. I'm super confused, all right? So maybe that's why? No, I don't think so. I think everybody's just confused. But Antonio Brown can return. He just needs to get 2 tests 24 hours apart that say negative, but he did have a positive. So that is one thing right now. He's going to have to stay away from the facilities. He's not going to be at practice. He's not going to be in the building until the team can confirm that he is A-OK. So we may not see Antonio Brown in this game against the Rams on Sunday. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. All I want is just for Buccaneers fans not to be like, well, we didn't have Antonio Brown, that's why you guys won. It's like, okay, well, we don't have like 18 running backs, so I guess we're even. We're even, okay, because Rams have lost a lot of running backs right now. Right now we're down to because we lost Xavier Jones, we lost Raymond Calais, Darrell Henderson's down now, course, Cam Akers early on. So the Rams have their issues too. But that's the only thing I don't want to hear. And obviously, we want to play everybody at their full strength. That's most fun is when you play people at their full strength. But if he's not there, he's not there. Well, what am I supposed to do about it? Let's take a look at the matchup of this game. This is the Rams offense versus the Bucs defense. You can see on your screen the Rams offense seems to be getting it done through the air pretty decent here, ranking 7th, but the ground game's still giving them some troubles. And so if Darrell Henderson is down, that is unfortunate, and that does hinder the Rams' abilities to get it done on the ground, especially against the Bucs, who have the second-ranked run defense right now. I'm not 100% sold that that's a very real, accurate representation of what the Bucs rankings will be at the end of the season, or what their numbers or their averages will be at the end of the season, because right now the Bucs have been winning games, and to give up less than 60 yards a game on the ground, I don't know if that's going to keep on keeping on, but they're playing from above. They're playing from ahead quite a bit right now. But as you can see, the Bucs pass defense pretty rough there. So the Rams offense has an opportunity to really have a big day passing the football in this one. Really, Matthew Stafford. I mean, he seems last week there were some mistakes, but he also, in a weird roundabout way, also looked a little bit more comfortable than he did against the Chicago Bears. Maybe it's because you go from prime time to an early kickoff, and so not as many eyeballs are on you. But I think the connection is very real with guys like Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee. That one's very real. And then I think we'll see Bobby Trees get a little bit more involved. I like what's happening with Van Jefferson, and per Sean McVay, looks like we're going to try to get Deshaun Jackson a little bit more involved. I don't know if you come out and say you're going to get Deshaun Jackson more involved and then do it immediately. I mean, I think that you kind of say that and then you start peppering him in just a little bit more as the weeks go on. So I don't know if he gets big playing time in this game. He probably wants to, former Buccaneer, but Deshaun Jackson, he played for the Bucs, right? He's been in a lot of places. He's been a little bit all over. Not too many places, I guess, but he's been a little over. Let's go to the other side. Bucs offense versus the Rams defense. Rams did have a top 10 defense last week, now sitting about middle of the road, but doing pretty good against the pass, only giving up that 216, ranking 11th, 20th against the run. Still having some troubles there, but also still packing those light boxes. Not doing a whole lot of damage there, not loading it up. They're kind of daring teams to run on them a little bit. The Buccaneers, not necessarily known for their running. They're tied for 30th in the NFL on the ground, but 5th in passing, so they are getting it done through the air. You cannot blame them. They've got weapons for days. They are very much like the Rams in the sense that they have a lot of weapons to throw to. And, Gronk, whether or not he watches tape, is one heck of a player. But the Tom Brady-led offense passing attack there for the Buccaneers, definitely dangerous. So you can see they're 13th in the NFL. In total offensive yards, and then now first in points. They're putting up almost 40 points a game right now. So, hey, if the Rams want to win this game, they might need to put up 45, all right? And that is definitely not an impossible task for this Rams offense. Definitely a lot of weapons here, but we really should get a good idea of exactly how good the Rams' pass defense is in this game specifically. This is probably the best array of weapons that the Rams will see this season. You can include other teams like the Cardinals or anything like that, but I think that it's pretty clear that the Bucs have the most weapons, the most high-powered weapons too. A name that people don't even mention anymore is Chris Godwin, who is a great player. But you got Mike Evans, you've got Rob Gronkowski, you got Antonio Brown, who may or may not play in this one. Chris Godwin, they've got weapons out there, and then even the running backs, I like Fournette. Doing a good job. So. They've got plenty of people to go to with the football, but I also really like the Rams secondary. So, I would love to see Jalen Ramsey just manned up on Mike Evans all day long. And then I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with Rob Gronkowski if he's able to get loose, because the Rams have had some trouble covering the tight ends. And Gronk is doing a great job this season so far. He looks way better than he did last year. He looks more athletic than he did last year. I don't know if last year he kind of just came in and was like messing around a little bit, but he looks really good this year. But lots of weapons for the Bucs, and Brady is also first in passing touchdowns and 5th in passing yards. The history of this matchup, the Rams lead the all-time series 17-9, so only 9 wins for the Bucs over the Rams in their history, and 17 for the Rams over the Bucs. The most recent game between these two came on November 23rd of 2020, just last season. That was a 27-24 win for the Rams. That game was played in Tampa Bay. The first ever game between these two came on November 6th of 1977. The LA Rams defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-0. Gave them the big old goose egg, which is always fun to watch. And maybe we'll get another one. I wonder when the last time Tom Brady was shut out. Has that ever happened? That'd be wild. Maybe don't put money on that one, guys. Maybe not. Just a friendly tip. That's all. That's my only advice, my betting advice. Well, I guess some of my betting advice. The longest streak that the Rams have had in this series is actually 6 wins. That came between 84 and 92. The Bucs' longest streak in this one, just 3 wins. That came between the years 2000 and 2002. So some pretty good Rams teams that the Buccaneers were streaking on. And the Bucs won those three straight games after that loss in the NFC Championship game, where Ricky Prohl caught that crazy ball and pins it against his body, and he definitely got in there. If you ask Bucs fans, they'll say it was probably incomplete, but he definitely got in there. And the Rams are 2-0 versus the Buccaneers all-time in the playoffs, and that does include that NFC Championship game, which was a tough-fought game. Of course, the Rams did go on to beat the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl that year, so that was a heck of a time to be a Rams fan, for sure. But also in the other game that the Rams had with the Bucs in the playoffs back in the 80s, there's some pretty memorable catches in both of those games for the Rams. And if you ask the Buccaneers fans about it, they'll get a little bit sour. That's all. That's what I've learned is that if you bring up Ricky Prohl, I'm blanking on the name. I know you guys are commenting it right now. I'm totally spacing. But if you say either of those names to Bucs fans, they will tell you that things happen and whatever. They'll get sour on you. Let's take a look at the 3 to see. Let's take a look at last week on our 3 to see. We had Jalen Ramsey, Justin Hollins, and Darrell Henderson. Jalen Ramsey had 3 total tackles, 1 interception, his second interception as an LA Ram. So that was pretty sweet to see. Jalen getting it done there, and it was a perfect timing too. Really helped the Rams seal that victory over the Colts. And the Colts, honestly, though, they were clearly avoiding Ramsey. It looked like it seemed like he had a better game in week 1, but it's also because he was just around the football more. The Colts did a really good job of just avoiding where Ramsey was on the field. Hey, good on them. I mean, that's something that's a good way to do a good job against the Rams is avoid their best players, which is Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. So, hey, they did a decent job. Justin Hollins had 2 total tackles, less explosive than week 1, for sure. He definitely did not have that burst that he had in the week 1 game, but hey, he still looked pretty solid. And then Darrell Henderson had 13 carries for 53 yards and 1 tutty. He did look like he was still getting his legs under him a little bit. That injury won't make that happen any faster. We'll see if he plays in this game. That cartilage injury that's a tough one, man. I don't know if anybody's had a rib injury. I've had a rib injury myself. It takes quite a while, and that is a pain too, man. Rib injuries are not fun. I had my rib injury. It took me a good 2.5, 3 months until I really felt like it was healed up, and it was at work or something, I'd reach for something, but it was terrible. So I'm sure, and I can guarantee that Darrell Henderson's injury was way worse than mine, but I can also guarantee, in fairness, that Darrell Henderson is tougher than I am. So maybe it's about even. Me and Darrell Henderson basically going through the same exact thing. All right, let's take a look at the week 3 to see. And first we're going to start with wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is on absolute fire this season so far, man. He's doing great. He has 11. Last year, he had 11 receptions for 145 yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was just last year in our game against them in November. So, you know what? With the way Cooper Kupp's playing this year so far, the way he played against the Bucs last year, I'm feeling good. Put Cooper Kupp in your fantasy lineup if that's what you guys do. I think it's going to work out well for you. He's currently 3rd in the NFL in receiving yards with 271. He is tied for 2nd in touchdown receptions with 3. He is 3rd in yards this season, but the cool stat here, and this is all stuff that you guys can find on the internet. The cool stat here is he's 3rd in yards for the NFL, but he is 19th in percentage of teams' air yards. That means that while Cooper Kupp is absolutely destroying souls out here, he's 19th in percentage of teams' air yards. That's pretty freaking good, guys. I mean, that means that the Rams are spreading it around. That means Robert Woods is getting it done. That means Van Jefferson's getting it done. That means Tyler Higbee's getting it done. That's good news for the Rams, all right? 3rd in the league in yards, but 19th in percentage of air yards for his team. That's incredible stat there. That is something that you tweet about, all right? Go ahead. Go to Twitter. Tweet about it. Translation here is Cooper Kupp really could be, this could be the beginning of his best NFL season, like I said earlier. I think that he's doing such a great job. I'm really excited to see him keep on progressing this season as it goes on. And by the way, I don't say any of these rankings. Like, I know I say like he's 3rd and like he's tied for 2nd in touchdown receptions with 3, stuff like that. But I don't say that to try to be misleading. Through 2 weeks, those rankings typically they do come off a little bit misleading. I could say Jalen Ramsey is tied for 6th in the NFL in interceptions, but he's got 1 because only 5 guys have multiple. So there's ways to make it sound really good, but that is not my intent, by the way, guys. That's why I try to give you guys the actual, he's got 3 receiving touchdowns, which also happens to be tied for 2nd in the NFL. Whatever. Take with that information what you will. But it's all, I just wanted to throw that in there because I feel like I don't want that to come off as misleading at all. Next here, I'm going to go with linebacker Kenny Young. We talked about him pretty good earlier. How does Kenny Young respond to last week? All right. He's a passionate player. He gets in there. He gets excited. He gets fired up. He's got to know when to cap that though, and just rein it in just a touch. All right. So I think he's a smart enough player. I think that he will learn from what he did last week. And I don't know if we ever see that again. Think back to Aaron Donald getting ejected from the 49ers game. Has he even come close to that again? That's just an example. And I'm sure that conversation was had in the locker room. I feel good about Aaron Donald going into the locker room and being like, this is what happened to me in a 28-0 loss against the 49ers on Monday Night Football in week 1 year. Hasn't happened again. Hasn't lost his cool like that again. And my last one here, I'm going to go with Jordan Fuller. Jordan Fuller last year picked off Tom Brady 2 times in the Rams-Buccaneers game, which was pretty awesome. All right, pretty crispy there. So let's see if he could do it again. If he can get a couple of picks on Brady, it would not hurt my feelings at all. Fuller has quietly been playing really, really well so far on that back end. But again, this is also the biggest test for the Rams secondary so far this season. So if you guys want to drop score predictions on this one, please do. Please do. I'm going pretty high on this one. I'm going to start doing score predictions. By the way, I don't even have a note in here for this. I'm going to go pretty high on this one, though. I'm going to go, I think it's going to be like a 45-42 victory. And that is different from the prediction that I had in the NFC West Roundtable, but this is more recent, so this is more real, I guess. I go high voice on you guys. Rams fans, the best kind of human being in the universe. You guys made it all the way to the end of the video, which I do appreciate. You know what I would appreciate even more, though? If you guys hit the subscribe button. It's right here. It's very simple. And if you guys liked this clip, I'm sure you did, and I'm sure you're going to love the entire podcast. It's right over here. Watch it. It's over an hour of just Rams. That's pretty awesome stuff. Peace. Go Rams.